Hope everyone's doing good. My name is Hussein. I'm one of your lead. Um, we're doing this group study recording just to kind of help you with creating your test cases. And for example, we're using Google's Gmail's registration page where there's first name, last name input box, username input box, password confirmation input box. There's also show password box, which is clickable, and by clicking it you should be able to see what you put in your password and the confirmation page. So let's have a look at the requirements. The first name and the last name doesn't really have any limitation, so we're just gonna verify input box exists and user is able to enter free text. And the username field has a limitation where at least you have to use 6 to 30 characters. We can use letter, numbers, and periods. For password input box, the minimum is 8. There's not really a max, but we're gonna stick to, let's say, 20. We can use letter, numbers, and symbols. And show password box shall exist with user having the ability to click the show password box, and that would show us what we entered in the password and the confirmation input box. So let's get started. So first, let's verify first name and last name input box exist with the user able to enter taxes in those boxes. So let's go to a spreadsheet. I just use requirement 1, and let's write some description for that. What I'll do is just basically I'm just gonna write as a user I should be able to let's say be able to write first. Let's use this. I should be able to navigate to the option page. So let's stick with that for now. Let's guess ID. Let's put just 1001. Now this is where we're gonna put the test case description. So this is where we're gonna verify, and then just copy this box. Let's say verify. Verify user is able to navigate to the registration page. The link, we're gonna add the link for that. Let's copy the link. Alrighty, and then let's write using Chrome Edge. Let's write just those two. Near here we're gonna add supported browsers. So browsers let's stick to these two browsers for now. Now, let's write the steps. What we are gonna do is, first we're gonna open browser. That would be Chrome and Edge. My bad. Let's do over here. Number 2, we're gonna enter the URL, enter the URL that is given to us already. Just gonna paste that. That's the URL, right? Then I'm gonna do step 3 is hit enter. Most of the stuff is copying and pasting, so don't be nervous. Let's do that. So now we're gonna copy. Let's copy this from here. Verifier is able to navigate to the registration page. Successfully. So that's something we're gonna do here, and then expected result should be just the same thing. Like you shall be able to that registration page. That's it, successful. From here on, we're just gonna copying and pasting. So let's copy and paste that. So here, what I'm gonna do is we're gonna do the first name. So let's do that. Like as a user, I should be able to enter. Let's do enter. And I'm able to, before entering, let's do click to verify its first name input box is clickable or not. I should be able to click on the first let's name it test case 002. Copy that. All right. Let's copy that from there. User is able to verify user is able to click on the first name input box. Okay, that's that. We're gonna copy the steps. Now we enter again. Let's copy the whole thing from there up until the box. What we're gonna do here is you see how mostly is copying and pasting, so it doesn't really require you to too much of the stuff once you gets going. So it's here the expected result should be user is able to click on the first name input box successfully. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So now that we verified we are able to go to the registration page, we're able to click on the first name input box. Now we are gonna do is we're gonna type in some name and stuff and see if we are able to put something in there. So let's copy that. Let's name it test case 003. Let's copy everything first and then we're gonna just modify it according to our needs. So okay. As user should be able to enter free text on the first name input box. Okay. So that's that. Able to enter is able to navigate. There was a typo error, so alright, so that's that. Now expected result should be user is able to next one. The result user is able to enter free text on the first name input box successfully using Chrome. So that's a positive test cases. So a negative test case like here we expect the result is user shall be, my bad. User shall be able to, because we're not verifying right now, or not. We are not validating it right now. So let's write user shall be able to. Yeah. So that's that. That's the positive test case here. So let's create a negative test case. We're just gonna create. That's gonna create. Let's copy everything down and then we'll modify that. I mean, once you get going, it's just copying and pasting process and just following your checklist. So let's do that. So as a user, I should be able to enter free text on the first. That's the test. That's the positive test case. And we're going to create a negative one. So let's stick to that. Yeah. Let's go, instead of creating a negative one for this one, but there is straightforward, let's do the last name one. We're going to create negative one for password and username field then. Last name. So as a user should be able to enter free text. But before doing that, we have to make sure the last name input box is there. How we do it, just like that, as a user should be able to click on the last name input box to verify it's there and it's clickable. So just if you just follow the test case number 2002, that's pretty much the same step that I would follow to verify the last name field is clickable. Instead of doing that test case, let's just do one where we can enter. So let's say as a user, I should be able to enter free text on the last name input box. We're gonna verify user is able to enter free text on the last name. Last name input box. Here goes the same thing. I'm just gonna change a few wordings here and there. Last name, alrighty. User shall be able to enter free text on the last name. Alright, so first thing is we're able to create a few test cases here for first name and last name, right? To verify input box exists, we're gonna use test case 002. To verify if we are able to click on the input box. And for the first name and last name, we're gonna use the same pattern, same step, same test description, same accepted results. I'm not gonna go into that because we have to cover other test cases. But this is the exact same process I would follow to verify if I'm able to click on the last name input box. So we did verify we are able to navigate to the registration page with the first test case. Second one was to verify input box is allowing us to enter free taxes. And the second one was to see if input box allowing us to click on it. The third one was to verify input box, the first name input box, allowing us to enter free text. The fourth one is allowing us to enter free text on the last name. So we created those two, first name last name. Those two are done. Now we're gonna move on to the username. So username field has 6 to 30 character limit, and we can only use letter, numbers, and period. So this is where what we're gonna do is we're gonna create combinations of password. We're gonna use boundary value analysis method, and also we're gonna create some negative test cases using the boundary value analysis. Let's open a boundary value analysis method. Boundary value analysis, with that we normally come up with 6 test cases, 4 of them valid, 2 of them invalid. So minimum limit is what? Minimum limit is 6. So anything less than 6 is invalid, right? So 6 minus 1 is what? 5. So if we take 5 characters for our username field, that should be an invalid test case. But 5, that's minimum. Minimum plus 1 is what? 6. 6 is our minimum, right? So that's minimum is 6. That should be a valid test case. Minimum plus 1 should be 7. That should be a valid test case. Max is what? Max is 30, right? So 30 is a valid test case. Max minus 1. So that'll be, max is what? 30. So that'll be 29. 29 will be a valid test case. And max, so that's wrong. Max plus 1. That should be max plus 1. So max is 30. So 30 plus 1 is 31. That would be an invalid test case. Alright, so let's get started with the username field. Alright, what we're gonna do is create a test case. Let's copy the steps first. Now we're gonna modify them. There we are, test case number 5. Alright, so what we're gonna do first is we're gonna use boundary value analysis to create 6 of the test cases. 4 of them should be valid and 2 of them should be invalid. So let's get started with that. And we are gonna also try seeing if letters, numbers, and periods are, like, if that is allowing us to use those. So let's go here. Let's start with the positive test cases. If the limits are 6 to 30, the positive would be, for starting, positive would be 6, then max plus 1 would be 7. Minimum plus 1 would be 7. Another one would be max, which is 30. Max minus 1 to 29. So we're gonna do one test case for 6 characters, one test case for 7 characters, another test case for 29 characters, another test case for 30 characters. So let's get going with those, and then we'll come to check if we are allowed to use letters, numbers, and periods. Yeah, as a user, I should be able to enter in the username input box. Copy that. Where is able to enter enter 6 character into username input box. All right. Then the step would be open browser, enter the URL, go there, hit enter, verify user is able to enter 6 character into the username. All right. Same thing if you're doing a test case where you want to verify if the if the if the username input box is clickable, you're gonna follow the test case number 2. You're just gonna follow the same steps to create a test case for that, and you should definitely do that. I'm just not doing it just to save some time here and go over other important stuff. Alright, so the expected result should be user shall be able to enter 6 characters in the username input box successfully using the supported browsers. We can also say that 6 character with combination of letter, numbers, and characters. Let's do another test case. We're going to create the positive test cases first, and then we're going to go into the negative test cases. These are characters. So this is our second positive test cases for the username field. What we're going to do is, let's add something here. Since all of these are, well, this has the same requirements, so I'm just gonna write one requirement. I don't have to copy that all the time. So let's go do that. All right, we should be able to, I'm just gonna change it to into 7. So this is gonna be our second positive test case. The minimum is 6, so minimum plus 1 would be 7 using our boundary value analysis. So minimum was our minimum requirement was 6 characters, so that 6 was the first positive test case. Minimum plus 1, that is 7. This is our second positive test cases. And then we're gonna go on to we're gonna go into the next test case, the positive test case, I mean. Just copy. Now we're gonna go on to max. What boundary value analysis says is max is what? For our requirement, max is the 30 characters, right? So we're gonna put 30. Let's change the test case number to 7. So there goes our third positive test cases using 30 characters. We're gonna move on to our next and last positive test cases. For next and last positive test case for your username field. So the last positive test case would be max minus 1. Max is what, 30? So max minus 1 would be 29. So we're gonna say as a user I should be able to enter 29 characters, combination of letter, numbers, and periods. Alrighty. If you guys have question or concern, I would recommend you commenting on the comment sections or taking notes and reaching out to me on Teams. That way, when I have time, I can go over your question and answer you. Right, so that's our last positive test cases. Now we're gonna create. We need, with boundary value analysis, there's gonna be 2 invalid test cases, which one is minimum minus 1, one is max minus 1. So I mean max plus 1, sorry. So let's copy that. So there goes our first negative test case. So our minimum requirement is what, 6. So minimum minus 1 would be 5. 5. So this is our expected results, right? Expected results. So this is where we should not be able to enter. We shall not be able to enter 5 characters. That's a negative test case. Alright, so let's create another negative test case for max plus 1 using boundary value analysis. Very easy. You can enter, but when we click on the next thing, is not gonna allow you to do that. So verify user. Unable to enter. There's a typo error. I'm just gonna fix the typo error. Sorry about that. So max is what? Max is 30. 30 plus 1 would be 31 characters. You shall not be able to enter 31. Alright, so that covers our username. So username has limitation of 6 to 30 characters, and then we can use letters, numbers, and period only. And so if you're first, we have to verify that input bot exists, right? And how we're gonna do it? We are gonna use the same format as test case 2. We're gonna verify if the username field is clickable using the test case 2 scenario. Just follow these steps. Except for first name, we're gonna use our username field. Alright, so what we covered is the username field. The username field, we created how many test cases? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We created 6 test cases. The first one is positive using 6 characters. Second one is using boundary value analysis. First one was minimum was 6, so that is a positive test case. The second one was what, minimum plus 1, so that is 7, another positive test case. The third one is maximum is 30, so that is a positive test case. Then we have max minus 1, which is 29, that is a positive test case. Negative test cases are minimum minus 1, minimum is 6, so minimum minus 1 would be 5 characters, so that's a negative test case. And then another negative test case would be for 31, which is max plus 1. Max plus 1 is 31, so that's our last test case. User shall not be able to enter 31 characters. Alright, so that covers our username field. So now we're gonna, since there's no like limitation, like maximum limit on the password field, we are only gonna stick to, let's say 30, 8 to 30, and we can use letters, numbers, and symbols. We can separately, if you want to create one test case just to verify you are able to use letters, you're only able to use numbers, you're able to symbols, then you can create negative test cases, meaning only letters is not gonna let you create a password, only numbers not gonna let you create a password, only symbol is not gonna let you create a password. You have to have combinations of letters, numbers, and symbols. So if you if you create a test case to see if you have letters and numbers, combination of letters and numbers, not the symbols, that's gonna be a negative test case. If you create a test case to see numbers and symbols only, no letters in it, that's gonna be a negative test case because it's not gonna allow you to create a password without letters or numbers and symbols without any one of these. So yeah, let's get started with the password. So for the password, what we're gonna do is we are gonna do again, we're gonna use boundary value analysis. We're gonna create 6 test cases, and then also at the same time we're gonna create some negative test cases to see if you can use letters and numbers only or numbers and symbols only, leaving any one of these if you can create a password. But uh, all of those are gonna be negative test cases. So let's do positive test cases first. And the limitation is what? Limitation is 8. Let's stick with 8 to 30. We're not gonna go more than that because then we can create so many test cases. And I'm here to just kind of give you an idea how to create test cases. So let's do that. All right. So that'll be test case number 11. The user should be able. So if the minimum requirement is 8, right? Using boundary value analysis, our first valid test case would be 8, which is minimum. Minimum plus 1 would be 9. Max we are sticking to 30, right? So max would be 30, max minus 1 would be 29. Invalid test case would be minimum minus 1, which is 7. 8 minus 1 is 7. Another invalid test case would be since we're sticking with 30, we're assuming 30 is the limit. That would be 30 plus 1, which is 31. We're not going to create an invalid test case for 31 because Gmail, the requirement we're using, doesn't really have a limitation. So we are only going to create, we're only going to create one negative test case for the boundary analysis, but we're going to create 3 other negative test cases to see if that allows us to create password using just letters, just numbers, or just symbols, or letters and numbers, numbers and symbols, leaving one of these. So that's gonna be some other negative test cases. So let's get started. The first one, we're gonna say as a user, I should be able to enter 8 characters using letters, numbers, and symbols, right? Symbols in the what? In the password field. In the password input box, right? Let's copy that. Verify user is able to enter 8 characters combination of letters, numbers, and symbols in the password input box. Okay, that's good. Where user is able to enter 8 characters. Okay, that's good. Okay, there goes. There goes our first positive test case for the password field. Just copying and pasting it. Alright, so next one would be what? Minimum plus 1, right? Minimum was 8, so minimum plus 1 would be 9. Test case numbers can always change. 9. User should be able to enter 9 characters, right? So that's another positive test case for the password field. Now we go to using boundary value analysis. We go to the next positive test case, which is max. Max is what? Max is we're saying 30, right? So let's stick with 30. 30 characters. And that's another positive test case for password field. So that's max minus 1. Max is 30. If max is 30, we're assuming max is 30, so max minus 1 would be what, 29? 29. So there goes our 4 positive test cases, right? Now we're gonna create some negative test cases. Now we're gonna create some negative test cases. If minimum is 8, minimum minus 1 would be what? 7. That's a negative test case. 7. When the step comes, So that user shall not be able to enter. What? So change it to 7. Let me enter 7 characters. So that's a negative test case. Another negative test case. Let's go do that. You see, guys, how mostly it's copying and pasting. I mean, once you get the hang of it, it's gonna make a lot more sense to you guys. And it's, trust me, it's not that hard. You guys got it. So if we're saying the max is 30, the max plus 1 will be 31, right? Alright, so test case. $31. $31. $31. Alright, so using boundary value analysis, we covered 6 test cases, 2 of the negative one, 4 of the positive one for our password field. But also password field says we can use letters, numbers, and symbols, right? We can create test cases to see if we are able to create a password with letters and numbers and symbols, or symbols and letters, leaving one of these out if we are able to create a password. So let's create some negative test cases for that. And same goes with username. You can create negative test cases for letters and periods, letters and numbers, letters and numbers and period, leaving one of those behind, and create some test cases, negative test cases for that. I'm just skipping whatever I can because I don't want it to be too long videos for you guys to recap. And also what I would recommend you putting it into, when I upload it on the YouTube, you can put it on 1.5 speed, and that way you don't have to sit 1 hour just to see this video. You'll be done within like 25 to 30 minutes. Alright, so let's get going. Alright, so let's say as a user I should be able to enter letters and numbers only in the password input field, right? Could be up until that. They should be able to enter letters and numbers only in the password input box. Okay. Is now we'll enter letters and numbers. User shall not be able to enter letters and numbers only in the password input box. Right. So that's another negative test cases. what we did is we use only letters and numbers, right? Now let's do one with letters and symbols. Alright, so this one say, let's say letters and we're saying letters and symbols only, right? So now in this negative test case, we were saying the first one we said letters and numbers, right? That's a negative. User shall not be able to do that. The second one, second negative test case, we said letters and symbols, right? Now we're gonna say numbers and symbol. Let's create a negative test case for that too. Letters and some, we're gonna say numbers and symbols. Numbers and symbols. Alright, so that there goes our another 90 test cases where we're not able to create a password with just numbers and symbols. And other ones are letters. We're not able to create a password using letters and symbols or letters and numbers. We had to have combination of all of this. And the positive test cases are here using combination of letters, numbers, and symbols. So that pretty much covers our password field. And now we're gonna verify that our show password box exists and we're able to click on it. Okay, so let's finish that one. Let's copy that. Able to see Okay. You should be able to see the password input box exists. Verify user is able to user is able to see show password box exists. User shall be able to see password box exists. Show password box exists. Okay. So now that we know that that exists, right? We're gonna create another test case to show you that that is clickable. That I should be able to click so verify user should be able to click on show password box to see whatever. Verify user is able to click on the show password box to see whatever. Alright, so there goes our last requirement to verify the show password box exists and also is clickable. So these two are that case. We can create 90 test cases for that, but I'm just gonna keep it simple and short so that you guys can go over this and start creating your test cases. Sorry for the delays. There's some typo error. Let me just go delete them. For example, 22 letters in the password. This typo error, I'm just gonna delete them from there. These are some typo error that Alright, so that's pretty much it, guys. And if I did it just to show you how to create some test cases. If there's error, typo error, or other errors, please write it down on a piece of note or something and address that to me, and I'll go over and fix that. But this is how you analyze your requirement and write your test cases. Create Make sure you please submit your homework this week. I expect most of you to submit it. If you have question concern, you can reach out to me, or you can reach out to Husnera, and we're gonna help you. Please don't be shy. If you need help, raise your voice. And if you are falling behind, also do let us know so that we can do something to help you out. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you for watching the video, and you guys have a good one. Start working on your test cases if you haven't, and make sure you submit your homework. And we'll see you guys later. Take care, guys. Assalamu alaikum.